All right, hey guys, what's up? Let's go over July's facility programming. July hits a whole bunch of different things, so exciting month. We finished up our last testing cycle right at the end of June, and a lot of times we go on a 1 week deload. We're going to do a 2 week deload this time just because of the 4th of July holiday hitting right here at the end of that first week. People probably taking long weekends. I hope you're closed at least some of there, or you have a limited skeleton schedule for a little bit. That way you can enjoy your life with your friends and family in the gym, and also there's time and life outside the gym. So I always say that all the time, how important that is to me. But I'll get off my soapbox. We'll go over it. That's why we're doing a 2 week resting deload cycle, so that way we're not starting right up on testing on the 8th there. During the deload week, there's two really different types of formats we're going to be hitting a bunch of. I'm real excited about them. The first one's going to be more of like a functional kind of short piece, supersetted training, segmented training day, really, versus everything integrated during testing, where it's like, one big long workout piece or a hard thing, or like a hero workout where it's just time for the conditioning, something hard that you may even have to go the partner workout. Because it's 4th of July, we have a couple hero workouts. So that means if that's increasing volume and kind of relative intensity, you're trying to go hard, we know that absolute intensity won't be there, but people trying to push really hard to do these workouts the proper way. If we don't flip on the other side of that and balance things out with structure, maybe new movements, skill work, and short, hard conditioning, like we have here on the sled or the row here, that we're going to burn people out. We're going to get them dinged up. When we talk about broad fitness, doesn't mean it's just, oh, it's a couplet, it's a chipper, right? There's a lot more to it than this. Or we did hinging and we did upper body push. That's the over macro view. We both get it, but we know there's a lot deeper ideas than just that portion. So let's look at this. So the first day we have a superset. We have some hinging with some jumping. So we're working explosive power from box jumps, from seated box jumps versus only lifting during this time. There's a lot of good science behind that. And for some people, it'll help them express their power a little better. At some point, yeah, you do want to load it up some there, but different ways are all going to help, right? And then we have kind of a moderate conditioning piece. The next day, though, we talk about we're doing box squats and single arm floor glute bridge press, then into some glute bridge hip thrusts and the dip supports, and the short, hard conditioning. So each piece of this takes about 10 minutes here, 10 minutes here for this part, and then, 5-10 minutes. So while it's multi-pieces, they're all pretty short. There's not, it's not 8 times 5 and 20 reps per piece per working set, right? They're shorter there, so the relative intensity is going to be a little lower. And again, instruction's easier. Dip support is much easier than a muscle-up progression, right? We have a couple hero workouts back-to-back, 3rd of July, 4th of July. There, you're always free to choose your own hero workouts. If there's one that's really special to you in your community, go ahead and do that. I try and put them that make the most sense with what we're doing in our training. And of course, you'll see if we did box squatting and some pressing and some rowing stuff, we have running and pull-ups coming up, right? And then we have hinging, burpees, sit-ups. And then over here, we have some single leg work with some horizontal torso rows and things like that. So we're hitting and trying to make sure that these match up well with our hero workouts because they are such high volume piece, and then some interval work on Saturday for the team one. So that's the first deload week. Second week, same idea. We do have a couple pieces that maybe have a little more high output. And the idea on deloads, how we do them for the gyms, is that it's 2 weeks of go for a walk, okay, recover and just get some extra sleep. We're training, we're hitting things again, a lot of A1, A2, B1, B2, in a short C conditioning piece for high output where they can express some power and not just be sustainable. Again, I really like that model a lot. Sometimes that class may not be the most exciting, but physiologically, there's a whole lot of gains to be had here. There really are. And, for everyone watching that knows the sports science behind it, you're nodding your head, right? Yep. Is that all we do? No. We're balancing again. We have one day it's more like this. The next day, fight gone bad. Right, so we're going in there with good old FGB, and then one day in here where we do have a little bit more output. Hang power clean to a heavy single, right? Hang power cleans aren't the heaviest lift you can do for Oli stuff, so it's definitely isolated there, but also is going to be something that um, people can express a little power again from, but not total CNS overload. And then out of 2 weeks, one little lactic endurance piece, everyone's going to be fine. Again, another day where it's just an AMRAP and some core work, so there's plenty of time for mobility, stretching afterwards, talking. It's a good time to maybe put some goal setting sessions at the end of these times here because they're not super impacted by everything that's happening. Again, a little more box squatting, glute bridge, some muscle endurance with the man makers there. So the end of deload week is up. Now we have week 1 of 3, block 1 of 4, which is our kickoff testing cycle here. We're starting off week 1 with close grip bench press and Helen. Helen, I think, is probably my favorite CrossFit benchmark. Aerobic power, right? Monostructural cardio piece in the run, weightlifting, light loaded piece there for speed, strength, endurance, and the kettlebell swing, and then pull-ups. So we have gymnastics, something weighted, and something cardio piece all wrapped together. That's CrossFit in a nutshell for you there, and that one holds the test of time, right? Some of the workouts you go like Angie, might be like, it's hard to really find a place where to put that one in there, right? Crushes a lot of people. But this one, again, in doses, we obviously have the right scaling options for everyone here. Next day, we're doing strength, speed, endurance. So a little CP work and strength, speed, endurance, meaning that we should have raised the ceiling last cycle, focusing on a lot of absolute strength. That's what we want to do. There's still a lot of absolute strength in this cycle. You'll see deadlift 1 RM on Friday. That's about as absolute strength as it gets. So we don't take that away. We just have now support pieces, and then priorities get adjusted. So what we mean by that, it's the 3 power clean, 3 front squat, 3 shoulder to overhead complex. So it's strength, speed, it's only lifts, but for most people, where the cycle ends is going to be close to the open, right? First thing I'll say, we know not everyone wants to do the open. That's why we always have our fitness or our functional body training right there. They can do that. But for those people that do, it's rarely the 1 rep max lifts that gets everyone. They can't recharge enough to go again and to go again. So that's CP battery or strength, speed, endurance is what's going to be hitting people on that part. So this is a great complex for that. Gets the OE piece in there, but we're not trying to focus too much on being an OE specialist, just like we're not trying to focus too much on being gymnastics specialists. We want to have good body comp, good movement quality, low injury, and do things that are in a good way for everyone's body. So that's Tuesday. Then it goes into front squat and a short 1K row. Right. Last cycle we did 500-meter row. So now we're stretching that lactic power out just a little bit to 1K row. Changing the physiology first, meaning their lungs, their body can handle all the lactate going through at a 1K pace. And what's 1K for an LP workout, if it gets transferred over, is Fran, right? Should be fairly similar. Some people obviously faster, but that's because they're, I don't have to talk about them. But everyone else, if they're somewhere in that 4 to 7 minute range on Fran, they're kicking butt pretty good in your program, right? And we don't do that often. We try and focus again on the qualities people need. What are the qualities? A heavy front squat. And can they have their body express their power consistently across that time domain? Well, guess what? If they can do those things, now Fran's pretty safe. Okay. If not, if we're like, oh, let's say their torso row on Friday isn't a certain amount. If they can't do some sort of dynamic contractions, they can't handle the barbell a certain way. Well, yeah, then it becomes an area where probably wouldn't want them to do that. That's what we have our fitness group for, where they're not doing kipping pull-ups. They're doing things with a much more structural foundation in mind. Okay, let's go over to Wednesday. High muscle endurance now, right? So we had moderate, really low CP, and now it's high muscle endurance. Filthy 50 is the workout, one of my favorite classic CrossFit muscle endurance tests. We went from constant variance, right, where we had a short interval of kind of moderately complex pieces with a couple minute rest, where it was about 4 minutes on, 2 minutes off times 5 or 6 pieces. Now we take away the interval and we're going straight through. Complexity, low to moderate, right? It's not the most difficult workout out there. It is more complex than Cindy was our muscle endurance piece last cycle, so just muscle endurance. We also had constant variance, which was more mixed modal pieces. So now we're stretching that out, adding more mixed modal to the muscle endurance, right? So you see how those 2 pieces are building together. And where does this go from here? They get good at Filthy 50. They can make these more moderate contractions, okay. They get good body composition from it. They get good muscle endurance, good aerobic development. Eventually, if we wanted to go high skill, right, pre-open, we might go to like Ben Bergeron's open test, which is high muscle endurance, moderate speed strength movements, right, 145-pound clean, that type of, not a 225 clean, something moderate there, fairly good amount of reps, but higher on the skill, right? I think we'd all say that workout's a higher skill piece than Filthy 50, but for that one, doing 40 toes to bar and a 30 chest to bar, a little bit of a kick in the junk there. Okay, so we have that muscle endurance piece. Now we balance out for structural because Friday is going to be high CNS output with the heavy deadlift and this mixed kind of LP, LE, CP, really classic mixed junk CrossFit part. But I'll put it up in here. We have structural with the split squat and the cross-body split squat, which we have the YouTube link in SugarWOD and in Kajabi for you. It's one hand is in a suitcase, one arm overhead, and it's split squat for 8 reps or 5 reps, depending on the level there for everyone. Same thing with torso row. 5 arm, we have our 5 RM each side. Same thing, we have kipping pull-ups here, vertical pulling, dynamic contraction on Monday, and then we have structural support here and single leg squatting on Thursday to combine with the front squat here on Tuesday, right? The conditioning piece is aerobic muscle endurance, some density, row for calories, farmer's walk, dumbbell box step over, which I love from the open. I think that's a great grindy piece, and this one really is a grinder. We shouldn't stop too much, but there'll be a little bit of stopping. And then into the 2 dumbbell renegade row, right? More horizontal pulling for everyone. It's going to combine good with, we know people want to still work on pull-ups and muscle-ups and that type of movement, but only when we have the right foundation, right? If they can't do it, they go to fitness or performance where they're working on that more. And then they're going to get the right muscle endurance and structural balance here. So all these pieces are designed to fit together in the week. And then finally, deadlift, build to that 1 RM, go for it, go big, or go home and you're not home, you're at the gym, so time to go big. And then a little lactic endurance piece here that's going to be hang power cleans, 2 dumbbell, strict press, and slam ball for a beginner, which is going to be a great workout. 21 Russian swings, 2 dumbbell strict press for the shoulders, then 15 slam ball, right, 12, 9, 6, it's a 5-minute AMRAP. Again, just that workout alone, structurally sound, really little, no risk in it at all. Performance, people that care a little more about output and maybe the open some, yeah, it's going to be hang power cleans, handstand push-up, and a light dumbbell power snatch. Short workout with a cap, that way if they want to try to go a little further, they can. If they get stuck, they know they have stuff to work on. They'll improve in a couple months, absolutely. So they'll see a lot of progress there. And for our sport people that are serious about the open, well, guess what? That's very much up any qualifier alley right there of hang power, handstand push-up, and dumbbell snatch. So that's testing week. And then again, partner workout on the weekend. Starting up our training cycle is week 2 out of 3, because this is week 1, finishing September 29th. It is week 2 out of 3, block 1 out of 4, with our accumulation week. We have 2 weeks of accumulation, so we're working after the heavy deadlift here on Friday. Upper body push-pull, right? Strict pull-ups, eccentrics, right? We're not doing kipping all the time, actually very rarely. It's going to be strict pull-ups, weighted, and eccentrics with floor press. And then muscle endurance, aerobic muscle endurance there, right? Go over here. Positional work, 2 dumbbell kettlebell push press with a hold overhead and a pause front squat for positioning into some hang cleans, push press, and a sprint, right? Next one's the long aerobic piece, starting off with a little more of a cardio piece so we don't just go all muscle endurance all the time, trying to make every workout of 100 reps aerobic, because for most people that'll just stop them. That's our test. So where do we go into training? Let's start off with a long run. Let's do some heavy farmer's carry, right? Let's work on the posterior chain balance here. And then over time, right, we get better at muscle contraction from the muscle endurance here, like on Monday's piece, that's all muscle endurance. We get better at aerobic pieces. Eventually those combine together and you go, oh, wow, I PR'd by 4 minutes on Filthy 50. Oh, crazy. How'd that happen? Well, you coached it to happen, so good job, coach. Thursday here, an accumulation, dumbbell chainsaw row and dragon flags. So later for people that want to work more, again, kipping pull-ups. If can't hold a dragon flag well, your body can't stay in good position. You don't have enough structural balance from weighted pull-ups and horizontal pulling. That's when we see people can't lower themselves eccentrically well enough in a kipping pull-up. But guess what? I don't think those are dangerous if you have good body positions from a dragon flag or hollow rock, if you have a heavy ass dumbbell chainsaw row, if you have good pull-up eccentrics and concentric strict, then guess what? Yeah, you can do all of them you want. You'll be really fine. It's not an issue. It's when someone can't do a pull-up, they never have done a row, they haven't done any isometric holds, no farmer's carry, and they start trying to jump up and flail. Yeah, I get it. But that's a straw man argument if you're doing it right. Right? Again, if you're doing it right in your facility, okay, cool, we're fine. And if someone for some reason can't, what do? They go to fitness. They work on the base of support. Right? They do strict pull-ups, jumping pull-ups. Let's look at tomorrow, right? They work on jumping pull-ups, box squats, etc. So we're trying to put all these pieces together for everyone, build all the different qualities, knowing that not everyone's coming every day. So it's not meant to be like an individualized plan where we have total control over their Tuesday. Some people come Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, nothing else, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So we have to look at that as far as the balance piece as well, keeping people healthy, and then managing intensities for people that come every day, right? So this will run for a couple weeks. Week 3 out of 3 will be a mini testing of accumulation, and then the cycle changes, right? So it's not 12 weeks of pull up upper body and push pull on Monday. Be a few weeks and we'll change it. We may put push and squat, push and hinge, right? Down for the next part of the cycle there on block 2 or block 3. And then again, block 4 is going to build back up towards most of this being retesting. We might do 1 or 2 of these a little sooner there. Sometimes the stuff like works out a little better this way. But that's the idea. We're not doing everything. It runs into 3-week mini cycles. So we get enough progression for everyone that we can help them improve on those movements, but also change it before they get too much adaptation from it and they start to plateau. We go, oh, let's switch the day. Let's switch the load. Let's switch the movement, the stance, the positioning, the tempo, etc. Right? And that's how we keep people progressing for years and years and years. And that is the July testing cycle or training cycle, as well as summer 2019's training cycle. Excited for you guys, and let's crush it this summer. Thanks.